This is the electronic collar that we use here at Wilde Acres, the Mini Educator ET300. That being said, many of these collars are quite similar. A lot of them have very similar styles of stimulation and a similar number series. This collar has this little digital readout screen, goes from 1 to 99, or from 0 to 99, and then it'll say high if you go past 99. It is basically a percentage of the power that the collar is able to put out. There are slight variations in the low end and in the high end, I think, that aren't exact percentages. That being said, that's pretty much my understanding of it. The black S button on top and the red S button both provide stimulation, so they stand for stim. The black S button, the way that this comes from the factory, if you see the M and the C, the black button is 1/10 of a second correction. So if you see the red dot on here, the red light, even if I hold that black button down, it's only 1/10 of a second. If I hold the red button down, it's as long as I'm holding it. While I'm talking here, I'm actually giving myself stim. That's a level 15, which is a level that a lot of the dogs use that we're working with. And as you can see, I'm not in any pain or any sort of problem with that. This button here that says T is for tone and tapping, I believe. That being said, we never use this. It's basically a vibrate function. If I push that button, this vibrates, even though it's hard to see, just moves slightly like a cell phone vibration. I never use that unless I am training a deaf dog and I teach them that that is their name. But since most of our dogs can hear us, we just use their name. The controller, like I said, has this dial that you can go up and down. I normally hold it in my hand like this, and I can change the value pretty quickly. So I could go correction, that didn't work, turn it up, tap, 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 turn it up, tap, tap, tap. And that's the way that I'll escalate correction if needed. The collar has to be turned on and off separately from the remote. The collar is turned on and off by touching this red dot to this red dot. I'll touch that. That red light means the collar is off. Green light means the collar is on. Red light off, green light on. Now, this is a charging port right here. They can both be charged at the same time. They're both waterproof. This has a charging port as well in the back. And on the back of the remote, you'll see this on-off light. The L button is actually the on and off button as well. If I hold that button down, the red light, I'm holding it down, turns off eventually. Hold it down again, turns back on. Again, that's the on-off L button. Hold it down, off. Hold it down, on. This small M and C button actually rotates the functionality of the collar from M and C to just M, which would be momentary only. This button would be the value that you see. This button is a boost now, so instead of being at 19, it goes 5 points up to 24. If I push that same M and C button again, I hold it down, switches to just C. This would be constant at 19. This would be constant at 24. I push it again, M and C, and now we're back at MC on here. So now it's 1/10 of a second and constant. The only other thing to make note of is there's actually a flashlight function on here. If I just tap that on-off button, it does a little strobe function. Tap it again, on constant, off. And I charge these pretty frequently. The remote will last like a couple weeks if you just leave it on, like forget about it and jack it or something like that. The collar will only last a couple of days. So I usually end up charging them as soon as I'm finished using them, and then they're ready for the next time I want to use them. That's it. Good job. When I go to put my electronic collar on, I want to make sure that it's fitted properly. The fitment of the collar is going to dramatically affect the efficacy. So if it's not, if the dog doesn't feel it, if it's not on his skin, unfortunately, it does not work. So I put it again all the way up high, right behind the dog's ears, and I put it on super tight. If you feel like your dog is choking, it's definitely too tight. That being said, if it starts to slide down, it's also too loose. If it's sliding down too fast. If it stays up here and every once in a while you need to scoot it up, that's reasonable. Right here on the dog's jawline is where I put it. I do not want it to be sitting down here. This is the spot where I have it right here. And I just have tucked the remaining strap right here. You can cut it off or whatever. But the way that I use the e-collar for a dog that has, on your bed, down, good boy, stay. The way that I use the e-collar for a dog that has been here for a 3 or a 4 week retreat, we're mainly worried about the off-leash recall. That's my main purpose for using an electronic collar. The biggest benefit of the electronic collar is that you don't have to be attached to your dog, and you can still give your dog a correction, or you can give your dog a command and still hold them responsible for their actions. I mostly use the momentary function on this collar, and that's a 1/10 of a second correction. Most of the time, that's the one that I use. If my dog has been properly educated, he understands what a recall is. So when I say name, C-O-M-E, he knows that he should turn around, run back to me, sit in front, and wait for next instructions or a reward or whatever comes next. In the context that my dog doesn't turn around and come back to me, that's when he is liable to receive a correction. In that context, my dog needs to know immediately, did he do the right thing or did he do the wrong thing? So if my dog is running away from me, I call my dog, and he does turn around, he's successful, which is highly likely, that's more often that's gonna happen than not. He turns around, I have to let him know, good boy, good job, buddy. And I do a lot of encouraging, our young dogs especially, encouraging the dog to come back and sit straight in front of me the whole time. So if I'm gonna call my dog over to me, Axel, come. Good boy, good job, buddy. Good. So I'm gonna use my hands to lure him up to a front sit. Good job, buddy, good. When teaching the front sit, the training loop is just, it's super simple. Come. Good. Come. 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 Good. Come. Good. Come. Oh. If the dog swings around, just put my knee in the way. Good. Come. Good. Come. Good. Get it. Come. Good. Get it. Come. Good. Okay. Good boy. Get it. Come. Good. Get it. Come. Good. Get it. Get it. Come. Good. On your bed. Stay. Now, on the occasion that my dog does not turn around and my dog continues to go away from me, it's super easy to understand that is incorrect. So the word no. So I call my dog does not turn around. Instead of saying, good boy, good job, I can't reward him for running the other direction when I called him. As soon as I say C-O-M-E and he does not turn around, no, tap, tap, tap on the collar, and then recall again, unless my dog is already running back to me at that point. So if the dog turns around immediately and starts running back to me, I go back to the first part, which is, good job, way to go, buddy, encouraging, bring him all the way in and follow through with the reward, whether that's petting, throwing a ball, playing with tug, giving food. But in the context of a failure, you're always trying to get back to that point, the point where you can tell him, good job, you've just been successful, you're gonna be rewarded as soon as you get back to me. So if my dog is, if that's me and I'm the dog and I'm starting to run back towards the person who called me and then I peel off, at that point, it's no. Correction, turns back in, good boy, good job, buddy. So you're looking for these points when you can say definitively, you are correct, you are incorrect. When you are correct, good. When you are incorrect, no, correction. So good followed by reward, no followed by correction. So the e-collar is just a method of giving the dog a correction at a distance for being incorrect. And like I said, usually the momentary function on the collar is what I use. And if in the case that my dog is like running directly away from me and I'm unsure that my dog has felt the correction, sometimes in that context I'll use the constant function in hopes that if it is running across some hair or something like that, it's moving, that when the hair shifts that he will actually feel the correction and I can get my dog back. The whole reason for training with an e-collar is to avoid the three worst things that can happen to a dog, in my opinion, which is 1, your dog running away, never to be seen again. 2, your dog running away, unfortunately getting hit by a car, struck by a vehicle, or in some other really dangerous accident. And the third thing is your dog runs up on another dog that isn't friendly, your dog gets in a big dog fight, it's your fault because your dog was off leash, or your dog goes and causes harm to somebody else, another dog, person, whatever that is. So in those contexts, it seems to me highly beneficial to use an aversive like an e-collar in that situation so that you can have a more free relationship with your dog and still be confident that you have control.